be lovely if at the end of each week you were able to just clear the decks and start fresh. That is what we are going to be talking about in this video, all the ways that you can successfully wrap up each week and make Monday morning your bitch. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura from How to Get Your Shit Together, and I teach productivity and personal development to busy people just like you to help you get the most out of life. And isn't it crap when each week just seems to run into the other and they all just go by in a blur, and before you know it, a whole year has gone? When you get to the end of a week and instead of feeling happy and satisfied with all that you've achieved, instead of feeling ready to take on Monday morning, you have a bad case of the Sunday scaries. You just live in fear of that first alarm clock of the week. But there is a way to avoid that Sunday dread and to give Monday morning the middle finger. It is the weekly reset. So here are some things that you can do to make sure that every week is a successful one. Fair warning though that I normally keep it pretty casual on the weekends, so if you are not ready to see a grown woman in unicorn pajamas, then maybe pick another of my videos to watch. The first thing I do is to put on a wash load. It is hard to feel fresh when you've no clean knickers. Fresh towels, fresh bed sheets, fresh clothes are all a great way to start a new week. Now, I talked about it in the last video, but it's worth repeating, trust me. Do a laundry load from start to finish before moving on to another one. Otherwise, you would just end up with a massive mountain of clean clothes that you do not want to put away. Plus, less ironing if you just hang things up straight from the dryer. Now, while you've got all your lovely clean clothes and underwear, look at you, adulting all over the place. It is time to choose outfits for the week. Since I started doing this, it has been a game changer in my house. It makes mornings around here run much more smoothly, and if you are anything like me, it will also lead to a lot less tidying, because something that I do if, I need to get dressed and I'm not sure what I'm going to wear and I'm in a little bit of a rush, is to just fling things everywhere. And then I come home to a bed covered in clothes. Have a quick look at the weather forecast and anything that you have coming up that week, and then choose your outfits accordingly. Your mornings are about to get a whole lot better. Next up for me, although really I do these in no particular order, is to back up and charge all of my devices. My laptop, my phone, tablet, external battery packs, hard drives, wireless headphones. Now, yes, some of them will need to be charged up again during the week, but I like to start each week knowing that everything is already fully charged, and that, worst case scenario, if I lose something or something crashes, I have a very recent backup. When Scout was a baby, she pulled my laptop off the table. Now, luckily, I was able to salvage everything from the hard drive, but I learned my lesson. Then when I had my phone stolen, I was able to just borrow a friend's old phone, import the recent backup that I had done, and then I was just ready to go, up and running straight away. All my contacts, all my messages, all my photos. Raging about my Mickey Mouse cover though. But yeah, weekly backups are the way to go. Don't be one of those people who realizes too late how important and irreplaceable those photos and messages are. Next, I like to clean the kitchen. Well, okay, no, it's probably too strong a word, but I clean the kitchen. I mean, there is a very little in life that makes me feel like I have my shit together more than a clean kitchen. It makes such a big difference to my day if I started, if I wake up to a clean kitchen. So that is exactly how I like to start my week. For you, it might be your bedroom, your bathroom, your closet, whatever. Just pick one space that makes you feel amazing when it is clean and tidy and organized. And then, because I'm in the kitchen, I try to do a weekly meal plan. I look to see what I have on hand, you know, what types of kind of meals and snacks I could make, and then I put them into a little spreadsheet. It's not that fancy at all, but just this thing I have where I plan out my meals for the week. I also make a list of what is running low to my shopping list so that the next time I'm out and about, the next time I'm shopping, I can grab exactly what I need. And then if I have the time and the inclination, although admittedly I very rarely have the latter, I will prep some stuff. Nothing crazy, just, you know, washing some fruit, chopping some vegetables. Now the next one may not be applicable to you, but I water my plants. I have gone from having black thumbs to actually being quite the plant mom, and I'm pretty sure that is down to having a set watering schedule. I water them and then I turn them 90 degrees so that each month, you know, every side of them is getting its fair share of sunshine. I also talk to my plants because I've heard that helps. So they all have names and I tell them how pretty they are. Call me crazy, but all my plants are still alive, and that is a miracle. So I'm running with it. Then it is one of my least favorite tasks, and honestly I can't remember the last time I actually completed it, but it is inbox zero. Now I get a lot of emails and I do try and reply to as many as I can, but honestly that alone would be almost a full-time job. But I do try and reply to, you know, the ones that are the most urgent, or if there are any that I can kind of quickly reply to, I will get to those too. I also have some canned responses set up, which I would highly recommend if you find that you send kind of the same types of responses all the time. So if I have a few of those types of emails, I will whip through those too. But it is not just my email inbox. I also go through all of my paperwork. So my paper inbox, which is really just a drawer beside my desk, but I go through it and I action as many things as I can. I pay any bills that are in there. I will file any kind of like statements or reference material. I will add any information to spreadsheets, etc. Maybe for you, you collect, you know, unopened posts throughout the week. Now is the time to go through it and action anything that you can, and then, you know, just don't recycle the rest. Now, there are 2 more things to do before you officially wrap up the week and move on to planning for the next week. And the first of those is to tie up any loose ends. So look at your to-do list, see what is still undone, and then prioritize those based on which ones are going to have the biggest impact on your life. After that, I would set a timer and blast through as many as you can. The reality is that you are unlikely to complete your to-do list every week, and that's okay. Just set aside some time on your reset day to get to, you know, the most important ones, and then for what's left, decide if you really want to carry them forward to the following week. I will come back to that one in a minute. I also use this time to look at my waiting on list. Now, if you don't already have one of these, I would recommend them. It is where I write down things like, you know, phone calls I'm waiting on, deliveries that I'm expecting, maybe like a service update that's due, all those types of things. I try to arrange them in kind of like generally the order that I'm expecting them, and if I know the due date, I will write that in afterwards. But having them there in that list like that, it just helps me to see if there is anything that I need to follow up on. And then update any like journals or reviews or kind of like memory keeping stuff that you do. I think this one is so important to like officially round out the week, mark it in some way. Write down any like standout moments, you know, mark down anything that you've achieved that week, look at your goals and see where you are in relation to those. You could update your scrapbook, you could have like a weekly debrief with your partner, your family, even a friend. Maybe you have a tracker that you want to fill in, like a little habit tracker or something. Just something that will help you to just stop for a moment, to pause and look back on everything that happened that week, all the great things that happened. You know, take some time to celebrate those. Also take some time to learn any lessons. And by, you know, writing them down, by taking that time, you can officially round out the week and close that chapter. That will give you such a huge feeling of accomplishment and completion. Because when you're not taking the time to mark those moments, they will just pass by in a blur. And then it is time to plan for the coming week. Okay, so we've already talked about, having some outfits picked out, having some meal ideas jotted down. But to really ramp up your efforts to make sure that you are like 100% prepared for the coming week, it is time to have a plan of action. Not an insanely detailed one or anything, but just something that is going to make sure that you are getting the most out of your time. Look at anything left on your to-do list and decide whether or not it is worth carrying forward. I mean, if you didn't get to it this week, is it really all that important? I'm not saying that you won't get to it, someday, that you don't want to do it someday, but is it really a priority for this coming week? Ditch anything that's not. Now look at all of your meetings and appointments and all the things that you have to do and make sure that you are slotting those into your calendar with buffer time. Those are the non-negotiables for your week, all the places that you have to be, all the things that you have to do. And then go down your prioritized task list and slot things in accordingly. If you have a family calendar, maybe have one of those command center, control centery things, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. If you have one of those, make sure that you're updating that too, so that, the kids know where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. Scan over everything and ask yourself if there's anything you will need for that particular thing. For example, you realize that you've got a lot of driving to do this week, then make sure that your tank is topped up, and if it's not, that should be one of the first tasks in your list for the week. Are there specific papers that you need? Are there phone numbers that you'll need to look up? Write yourself a prep list so that nothing is forgotten. Is there anything on your list for tomorrow that you could do, or at least make a start on now, to get the ball rolling? Fine if not, or if you're too tired, but if you have some time and energy and you can give, Monday you a head start, go for it. Then pack and prep for the following day. Make a lunch, pack a bag, write down directions, set a timer on your coffee machine. Whatever you need to do so that when Monday morning rolls around, you're ready to go. And for the love of unicorns, rest. You can't take on the week if you're wrecked. One of the best things that you can do for yourself is to relax and recharge. If you want to learn more about planning your most productive week, like if you want a step-by-step system, you're going to want in on my e-course, The Productivity Power Up. Click up there to get a sneak preview of that. And this video is part of my Start Fresh series. If you've missed the first 2 videos, you can catch up right here. In the next one, we are talking about how to reset your style, how to dress confidently but comfortably, so that you can feel yourself and put your best foot forward. Until then, gura have míle maith agaibh, agus beigi mé sibh go luath. Slán!